So we've seen that there are different ways to label a point. This is just a little summary of that. Every point in a polar grid is denoted by two numbers. One of them is the distance from the pole to the point itself. That's our R number. And so that's R here. And then the other number that we use for a polar coordinate is the angle from the polar axis. So that's our theta. And in this case, that point has the coordinates 6, and then the angle is 5 pi over 6. We could use degrees or radians for points in a polar coordinate system. Let's just stick with radians for now. We've also seen how that same point can be labeled by different pairs of numbers. By simply using a different angle, we can say that the coordinates for that point are 6, and then if you looked at the angle from a negative angle here, doing that, what is that angle? That is negative 7 pi over 6. So that's that's another pair of coordinates that we can use for that angle. However, we've also seen that the radius number for a point can be negative if we use an angle that's in the opposite direction. So the opposite direction here would be going this way, okay? And that angle can be labeled using a couple of different angles. We could call this angle here negative pi over 6. Or if we wanted to get real fancy, we could call it, well, I guess it wouldn't be so fancy really, would it? 11 pi over 6 in the positive angle, so 11 pi over 6. So those two angles can be used with a negative radius because the angle's in the opposite direction from where this point is, actually. So another pair of coordinates that we could use would be negative 6, negative pi over 6, or negative 6, 11 pi over 6. So those four coordinates right there could all be used to describe the same point. And in fact, if we wanted to go around the circle more than once, either in the positive or the negative direction, we could have any number of different angles to use for that same point. So there's really literally an infinite number of pairs of numbers that can describe the same point in a polar coordinate system. However, don't worry about that. We'll almost never use an angle that's greater than 2 pi or less than negative 2 pi. We will use both positive and negative angles, but we'll keep everything between between negative 2 pi to positive 2 pi. That's all our angles will be. Okay, thanks.